Some nice temperatures, warm and dry across the area. How warm will it get? And will we see any rain? The latest coming up.
Also, Ukraine gets aid from the U.S. on their Independence Day. We'll have details.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
1 Million Cups is taking a road trip to Carthage. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Jalen Banks. Every Wednesday, they meet for coffee for 2 entrepreneurs to speak to local chamber members about their business. The purpose of these meetings is to help to get feedback and empower small business owners. 1 Million Cups is a nonprofit organization with over 160 chapters across the country.
It's not a sales pitch that we let people come up and talk. It's, hey, this is what we do, this is what we're struggling with, and here's what I need help with. And then the magic happens when we have the question and answer time, because then people are given ideas or, hey, I can help you with that or whatever. So we're really building a community of entrepreneurs.
1 Million Cups takes a road trip every 3 months to get out in the community for local business owners who can't make it to the weekly meets.
Democrats are putting their bets on Charlie Crist, a man who served as a Republican governor before switching sides a decade ago.
Governor DeSantis only cares about the White House. He doesn't care about your house.
They're hoping he can take on Florida GOP Governor Ron DeSantis, who's been on the national stage taking on public school agendas and going up against Disney, leading up to a potential 2024 presidential run.
Florida will be the vanguard of freedom in this country.
We have to get out and exercise our right to vote.
Meantime, a former Orlando police chief appears set for a fight for the Florida U.S. Senate seat, now occupied by Republican Marco Rubio.
The president was
Congresswoman Val Demings, who is part of the team leading the impeachment proceedings against former President Trump, has won that Democratic nomination.
When it comes to unpacking our Supreme Court, I'm going to stand up and fight.
In New York, 2 major institutions of Congress were forced to face off. Judiciary Chair Jerry Nadler defeated Oversight Committee Chair Carolyn Maloney, which the party says is a major loss of a powerhouse Democrat due to a newly redrawn congressional district. And 2 hours north in New York's Hudson Valley, a special election there may set the roadmap for midterm strategies come fall.
Do you see outside interests coming in here trying to fire up the voting base?
Yeah, listen, without question, obviously, everyone has a degree of interest.
Democrat Pat Ryan won last night against Republican Mark Molinaro in the first competitive House election since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, setting the stage for what could be the last national test case on whether abortion will drive voters in November.
The foundations of our democracy were and remain under direct threat.
Because that was a special election, Ryan will only serve in the seat for a few months and have to run again in November. With the primary season largely complete now, we have roughly 2 months until we find out if Democrats have momentum to preserve majorities in Congress or if Republicans are now poised for victory. Scott McFarland, CBS News, New York.
Oklahoma voters decided runoff elections on Tuesday in cases where no candidate got more than 50% of the vote in the primary. We begin with the Republican nomination for United States Senator, the seat held by retiring Senator Jim Inhofe. 2 loyalists of former President Donald Trump are on the ballot. Markwayne Mullin defeats T.W. Shannon. 2 Democrats face off in Oklahoma's other U.S. Senate race. Cybersecurity expert Madison Horn defeats attorney Jason Bollinger. Horn will face incumbent Republican Senator James Lankford in November. In the race for Mullin's open U.S. seat in eastern Oklahoma, former state Senator Josh Brechin defeats state rep Avery Fricks for the Republican nomination. And you can go to our website and the KOAM News app to see the rest of the results for the Oklahoma primary runoff election at KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. And now Chris Warner joins us with the first look at the weather.
We have that first look at the weather, Jalen, and it is actually a pretty decent look at the weather. Right now, the Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear, but that's going to change in about 2 or 3 days. We're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. Right now, though, the only rain it's got to track is across the Deep South, where they've dealt with more rain than they know what to do with. In fact, it was causing serious flooding concerns in Dallas earlier this week just because they got so much rain in such a short amount of time. Now, locally, temperatures are good. They're starting to warm up. We go from the cool spots here, Nevada at 82, 83 Stockton, 81 Fort Scott, and then we hit warmer spots like Sedan, Independence, and Neodesha that are in the mid to upper 80s, while Joplin currently sitting at 85 degrees. Now, the good news is heat index values are not significantly higher than the actual air temperature. As we go through the night, temperatures gradually drop off into the 70s by midnight. And we're looking at another cool start to tomorrow. Overnight lows in the lower to mid 60s. But we have some changes on the way, including warmer weather. We're going to get to all of that here in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Chris. Topping Nation Watch, the U.S. will be shipping more weapons and aid to Ukraine. The announcement comes as Ukraine celebrates its Independence Day and marks the 6-month anniversary since the start of the war. Skylar Henry has more details from Washington.
President Biden announced the U.S. will give nearly $3 billion in aid to Ukraine. The $2.98 billion in military aid is the largest single package of assistance yet. The president said this will allow Ukraine to acquire air defense systems, artillery systems, and munitions, counter unmanned aerial systems and radars to ensure it can continue to defend itself over the long term. More than $10 billion worth of weapons and equipment have been shipped to Ukraine to aid its battle against Russia. Today's assistance is part of a $40 billion package Congress approved in May. The announcement comes as Ukraine marks its 31st anniversary of independence from the Soviet Union. It also marks the 6-month anniversary of Russia's invasion. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine was reborn the day Russia attacked. He added, "What for us is the end of the war. We used to say peace. Now we say victory." Streets were empty in the capital of Kyiv as public celebrations were banned. While not far away in eastern Ukraine, the battle rages on, just as it has every day for the past 6 months. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
More than 35,000 people have been killed in the 6-month war, with more than 6 million people, civilians, now being considered refugees. And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on the KOAM News at Noon, how supply chain issues have hurt most companies across the economy. And later, we're making root beer chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Production and supply chain issues have hurt companies across the economy. Max Darrow explains.
At S27 Ales in San Jose, California, the founders take a lot of pride in their craft.
This is probably one of our, if not our best seller.
But Lucas Szymanowski says one of the more complex parts of the craft these days is getting their hands on aluminum cans.
Cans have been the biggest problem for us.
Brewers across the country are dealing with a can shortage.
At the beginning of the pandemic, the biggest challenge was simply demand.
Bart Watson from the Brewers Association says when bars and restaurants had to shut down in the spring of 2020, people started drinking more at home.
And greater demand for aluminum cans, and that extended to other beverage products like soda, and so there simply weren't enough cans to go around.
That's been followed by ongoing supply chain issues, and the need for cans continues. According to the Aluminum Association, domestic demand for aluminum was up more than 5% in the first quarter of the year.
Before this aluminum can shortage, they used to be able to order big pallets of cans like this one behind me whenever they needed them. Now they have to wait for their supplier to alert them that cans are available, and they're paying more per pallet as well.
When we order aluminum cans, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 that has to be spent because the cans are available in that moment.
Experts say supplies are slowly getting better.
Prices are going to remain high, but availability hopefully will improve. We're starting to see, again, more capacity coming online, which will help.
In the meantime, brewers are helping each other.
In the community, I mean, it became very common, everybody to message everybody else, hey, I have a need. I need a half pallet, 1 pound of cans. Do you have any incoming? Can I borrow those?
Szymanowski says the community will continue to work together to weather the challenges of the can shortage. Max Darrow, CBS News, San Jose, California.
Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
We love root beer right out of the bottle, and when it's teamed with some ice cream, even better. But today, we're using it in a whole new way.
And Chris Warner returns with a complete look at your forecast.
We have had a pretty decent day so far today with some increasing clouds. On the Skywatch Storm Tracker, nothing in our area, all the rain hanging out in the deep south where they've been getting quite a bit of rain. But that's okay, because up here, it's about to change. As promised, so we had those clear skies this morning, and they are building in on the cloud cover with those partly to mostly cloudy skies. 85 in Joplin, only feels like 86, so not bad considering that it's August. Temperatures across the board warming up a little more out west, which is always interesting to me because out west is also where it's a little bit on the cooler side in the morning. 87 in Yates Center, 89 Chanute, 86 Oswego, 83 Neosho, and 82 in Anderson. And those feels like temperatures, as I mentioned, most cases are maybe a degree or two above what the actual air temperature is, so it's very manageable, again, compared to just a few weeks ago. As we go through the evening, temperatures will gradually drop off into the 70s by midnight, and then we'll get cool again to start our Thursday. Check out these temperatures: 61 in Burlington, Garnett, Yates Center, 63 Chanute and Joplin, 61 in Neosho. So another cool start to our day come tomorrow. Now, this is where the forecast changes. These little thunderstorm icons. I know we don't want to see them on a weekend, but unfortunately, that's where they are. Saturday and Sunday, both days, scattered storm chances. 90 on Saturday, 94 Sunday. Partly cloudy skies otherwise, because these are scattered storms. So don't cancel your plans. Just keep an eye on the forecast. So let's talk about that forecast, shall we? This is as we head into Friday. Temperatures really start to warm up, but you also see increasing cloud cover out across Kansas, and that's in advance of the system that's going to bring us rain. In fact, it's going to do a pretty good job of that. Going into Saturday evening, we get more cloud cover. Doesn't really do a lot for temperatures, and we also start to see those scattered storms. Those scattered storms hang out with us into Sunday. Still gets hot on Sunday, and then storms again, and they hang out with us going into Monday morning. More scattered showers and thunderstorms, and as we head into Tuesday, look out west. Look what's coming in after that. And here it comes again by Tuesday evening. More showers and thunderstorms. Now, what they're doing for us is they are keeping the temperatures in check. On the short term, as we go through today, temperatures not bad. So we head into tomorrow night and into Friday, or into Thursday. My apologies. Reading sometimes, I don't pay attention. Now we're heading into Friday. We start off a bit milder Friday morning than what we have, but still not bad. So 93 tomorrow, 94 on Friday, and then the rain brings temperatures down briefly, and it just hangs out for the next few days. And the one thing it does is, as I mentioned, it's keeping these temperatures at a much more seasonable level. So yes, that's hot. 94, 92, that's hot, but that's what it's supposed to be this time of year. August has really spoiled us. We look at overnight lows, they start to gradually creep up too as we head into the weekend. Instead of having overnight lows in the 60s, we're starting to talk overnight lows into the 70s. But again, that still beats saying overnight lows in the 80s. So we're a lot more seasonable as we head into the end of August. And we do have a number of rain and thunderstorm chances on the way as well, which the rain, again, the craziest part of all this is we're above average for the year because we saw all of our rain like a monsoon in May and then stopped getting it. But we still need the rain now because the drought situation needs some help. And this rain's certainly going to do that.
Yeah, I know you had talked about how, people may be disappointed about seeing rain on the forecast during the weekend, but all the extreme heat and dryness we've had during the course of July and early on in August, I don't think anybody's going to be too upset about having rain on the forecast.
Yeah, the rain on the forecast is something we need. I know, like you said, it stinks that it's the weekend, but we need this rain, and it's keeping the temperatures seasonable. So yes, I understand it is hot, but it's a lot more seasonable, and it's better than that forecast saying 104 or 105.
Just got to hold on a little bit more, and fall will be here. But
we've got just a little bit of time, and then it's going to be knocking at our back door, ready to kick it in.
Absolutely. All right, thank you, Chris. We take this time to honor one of our four-state heroes, Tech Sergeant Larry Jacobs, a Sarcoxie native. Served in the Air Force from 1968 till 1973. He served in Thailand, Okinawa, and Guam. He earned a Bronze Star and a plethora of other medals. To Tech Sergeant Larry Jacobs, we thank you, our four-state hero. Poultry and soda, two things you normally wouldn't pair together. But don't worry, Howard shows us how to make root beer chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When it comes to flavors that shout summer, it's easy to think about lemon or strawberry. But to me, root beer is near the top of my list. A frosty mug of it is so refreshing. And when you team it with ice cream, it even gets better. Today, we're using root beer as a key ingredient in our barbecue chicken. We start by roasting some bone-in chicken before heading out to the grill. That way, we can be sure the chicken is cooked through and the barbecue sauce won't burn. While our chicken is roasting, we make a homemade barbecue sauce by combining ketchup, a touch of Worcestershire sauce, a few seasonings, light brown sugar, lemon juice, and a good amount of root beer. It adds a spicy, sweet flavor to the sauce. Once our chicken is cooked through and our sauce has simmered for a bit, we slather the sauce over our cooked chicken and head out to the grill to finish things off. And since the sauce never touched any raw chicken, we can keep basting the chicken while it cooks. Once the chicken starts to get all those crispy grill marks, it's ready to serve. One bite is all it takes, and you'll never want to make barbecue chicken any other way. So what are you waiting for? Go online now and get the recipe for root beer chicken to add to your summertime lineup. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a rootin' tootin' way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, if you're interested in making the root beer chicken, you can find that recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
We've got a nice day ahead of us, 89 for an afternoon high, 93 Thursday and 94 on Friday. Then we're watching storm chances that build in this weekend, and they will stick with us through the beginning of the next work week. So a soggy weekend, but much needed rain, and it keeps the temperatures at the seasonable level they should be at.
All right, sounds good. All right, Dow, what do you have for us at 5?
Well, at 5, President Biden announces that he's going to forgive up to $10,000 in student debt for millions of Americans. Some people are praising that decision. Others say it's going to contribute to inflation. Plus, a trip to Paraguay changes the career path for one Pitt State employee. And we're going to hear from a Ukraine native on how they celebrate that country's Independence Day. You can join us for those stories, a lot more, of course. It's all coming up today on KOAM News at 5.
Awesome. Well, that sounds good. Well, thank you for joining us for the KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.